Before we dive into this unbelievable courtroom moment, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This one's going to change the way you see justice. It was a bitter winter morning in Washington, D.C., and the Supreme Court chamber felt colder than the stone walls around it. The audience sat in tense silence. All eyes were locked on one man, Chief Justice John Roberts, draped in his black robe, eyes sharp behind his glasses. Across from him sat Elon Musk, composed in a navy blue suit, hands calmly folded, eyes steady. "Mr. Musk," Roberts began, his voice cold and firm, "your disregard for aerospace safety is reckless. You're not a pioneer. You're a threat." Gasps echoed in the courtroom. A young attorney whispered, "Did he really just say that?" Elon didn't flinch. "Your Honor," he said, holding up a sleek tablet, "I request permission to present evidence." Roberts leaned forward, scoffing. "Evidence? Or another one of your theatrical stunts?" A low chuckle escaped him, bouncing off the marble. Cameras clicked. Journalists raised their brows. This wasn't just a hearing anymore. This was a moment. Elon's voice was calm. "With respect, sir, truth doesn't need drama." He tapped the screen. Behind him, a digital projection lit up, revealing FAA-certified documentation, safety protocols, and real-time system logs. The room froze. Even Roberts stopped mid-breath. What started as an insult was about to become one of the most talked-about courtroom moments in history. Want to know how Elon turned the entire court against its own bias? Stick around. It only gets better. The projection on the screen cast a blue glow across the courtroom. Roberts squinted at the data. "Where did you get these reports?" he asked, suddenly less sure. Elon didn't smile. He didn't gloat. He just calmly answered, "From the same agency you said I ignored. The Federal Aviation Administration. Signed. Verified. Time-stamped." A soft murmur rippled through the courtroom. One clerk leaned toward another and whispered, "Wait." He came prepared. But Elon wasn't done. He swiped to another slide. A full breakdown of SpaceX's emergency response systems, compliance audits, and an overlooked addendum signed by a Justice Department official, months before this trial was even scheduled. "Your Honor," Elon said coolly, "before calling me a threat, perhaps the court should review its own oversight." That landed hard. Roberts leaned back in his chair, suddenly looking older. The confidence was cracking. He fumbled for his papers. Elon, still standing, looked directly at the bench. "This isn't about pride. It's about facts. I don't want permission to change the world. Just the freedom to do it safely." Silence. Even the press, hungry for scandal, couldn't find a way to spin it. This wasn't a tech bro grandstanding. This was a man who walked in with receipts, and the room knew it. If that moment made you sit up, imagine what happens next. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit like. The room hadn't moved in nearly a minute. Just as things settled, Chief Justice Roberts did something unexpected. He dropped the legal documents in front of him and leaned in. "You know, Mr. Musk, I've dealt with people like you before. Men who think wealth and influence excuse arrogance." The statement felt loaded, more personal than professional. Elon blinked slowly. "Excuse me?" he asked, still calm but sharper now. Roberts didn't flinch. "Your companies play in space, cars, satellites, and somehow every one of them thinks it's above regulation. You're not special. You're just loud." You could hear the air leave the room. Even Elon's legal team shifted in their seats. Was this a judicial attack or something else? Elon stepped forward, calmly placing both hands on the wooden table. "With all due respect, Your Honor, I didn't come here to be liked. I came to defend the work of thousands of engineers and scientists, people who build instead of blame." His voice didn't rise, but it cut deeper than a yell ever could. Even the court reporter paused for a second, stunned. Then he said something no one expected. "If I were just loud, I wouldn't be in this room. I'm here because I don't quit." Boom! The court didn't erupt, but it shifted. People looked at Musk differently now. This wasn't a titan flexing his muscles. This was a man standing for something bigger than himself. Ever been underestimated just because you challenge the system? Let us know in the comments. And if you're with us, smash that like button and stick around, because Elon flips the entire courtroom. By now, the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. But Elon, still cool, still standing tall in front of one of the most powerful men in the American justice system. That's when he said it. "Your Honor, may I show the court one last exhibit?" Roberts, visibly irritated, waved a hand. "Fine, let's get this over with." Elon turned to his assistant. She handed him a flash drive. He plugged it into the screen system. This time, no spreadsheets, no graphs. It was a video. A 5-minute clip showing footage of SpaceX workers, mechanics, welders, coders, speaking about their work, their dreams, their families. Then, a 12-year-old girl appeared. "My dad used to work 3 jobs. Now he builds rockets," she said, holding a hand-drawn sketch of a spaceship. Mr. Musk gave him his dream back. No one expected that, not even the opposing counsel. Somewhere in the back, a juror wiped a tear. Elon didn't narrate. He let the images speak. When the video ended, he looked directly at Chief Justice Roberts. "What I do is messy. It's loud. It's ambitious, but it's real. And it lifts people up." Roberts didn't respond. For the first time all day, he had no comeback. That hit you, didn't it? If you've ever believed that innovation can come from the heart, not just the boardroom, drop a heart in the comment. And trust me, it's the moment everyone's been waiting for. The courtroom was silent, the kind of silence that follows a truth no one can argue. Chief Justice John Roberts shifted in his chair. His shoulders, once squared with authority, now slightly slouched under the weight of something heavier than the law: regret. He stared at Elon, but what he saw wasn't a billionaire. It was a man who carried stories, not stats, impact, not image. "Mr. Musk," Roberts finally spoke, but his tone had changed. It wasn't sharp anymore. It was uncertain. "You made your point, quite powerfully, I might add." Elon nodded, but said nothing. Roberts took off his glasses, rubbed his temples, then looked out over the courtroom. We often think justice is about keeping order, but sometimes it's about making space for change. Whoa! Even Elon looked slightly surprised. Roberts turned to the panel of junior justices beside him. Perhaps this court should consider when it becomes the obstacle instead of the guide. People leaned in. This was no longer a trial. It was a reckoning. One by one, reporters began typing furiously. Not just for the story, but because they were watching something you rarely see: a system bending toward humility. And then, as if to finish the moment completely, Roberts looked directly at Elon and said, "I underestimated you. I won't make that mistake again." Elon offered a small smile, not smug, just real. If you've ever had to earn respect the hard way, you're not alone. Drop a comment if you've faced moments like this, and subscribe for more stories where truth speaks louder than power. The hearing was officially over, but no one moved. The silence wasn't awkward. It was sacred. Elon turned to leave. His steps were steady, but the emotion behind his eyes said more than words ever could. As he walked past the rows of spectators, people stood, not because they were told to, but because something inside them shifted. Respect isn't demanded, it's earned. At the door, a young law clerk stopped Elon. "Sir," she said softly, "my brother works at your satellite division in Arizona. He used to think the system didn't care about dreamers. Today, you proved him wrong." Elon nodded gently. "Tell him the world changes one step at a time, and he's one of the steps." Back inside, Roberts remained at the bench, silent, staring at his own reflection in the glass panel ahead. He wasn't just reflecting on Musk. He was reflecting on himself, on what justice really means, on how sometimes a courtroom isn't just for rulings. Sometimes it's for redemption. As Elon stepped into the sunlight outside the courthouse, the cameras rolled, but this time not to catch controversy. They caught a man walking forward with something rare: integrity. If this story hit you deep, if you've ever been doubted, dismissed, or underestimated, drop a comment. Subscribe for more stories like this one, because sometimes real power isn't in what you say. It's in what you prove. Like, subscribe, comment, and never stop building something bigger than yourself.